Greetings of the day, students. Hope you all are doing good. So we are back again. I'm your host and host Pulkit Agarwal. So today we'll be getting into the concept of the third part of real numbers, where we will be discussing the main concept why there is a difference between rational and irrational numbers and what are the difference between them. Why is the difference and what is the difference? Okay, we'll be dealing with this. So, we are here to discuss the syllabus of class 10 under CBSE pattern, but obviously it would be helpful for a student who is in ICSE and even in state boards. Okay, because I don't think so a student of class 10 of any board or any part till class 10, a student will know what is a real number. Okay, till class 10, a student in India will be taught what is a real number. So if it comes under CBSE, if it comes under ISC, if it comes under ICSE, or if it comes under state boards, they will be there. Real numbers will not vanish because it is a very important concept for a student to know what is the concept of real numbers. So it will definitely be in your syllabus. Okay. So we'll be discussing the main crunches of rational and irrational numbers. Okay. So our channel is 2 Gyanam, as we know. So now I am discussing this video in English version. Later on, whenever the video ends for the whole concept of real number, we will go with the Hindi version of it. So, as a time being, there will be a time when the whole syllabus of class 10 has been completed over here. And then you can take the full advantage of it. And aftermath, you can also do with me by commenting on the video. It's like if you want to ask for geometry and you're not getting the video for geometry, you can comment it on the trigonometry video. I only want to know that what is the doubt you are having, and that will be definitely solved. Okay. So first of all, we will be discussing rational number and irrational number. Okay. So there are 4 stages of the concept. Okay. Like first we say terminating. Okay. You have to be familiar with this word. If you are not, then get back to work. And if you want to understand it literally, take your pen and papers. Terminating, recurring, non-terminating, non-recurring. These are the 4 words which a class 10 student or a student who is studying mathematics, the number concept, should know it. What is terminating, what is non-terminating, what is recurring, and what is non-recurring. Okay, we'll take the help of the starting page. Okay, I think so it is visible. Yeah. So yeah. So what is terminating? When the denominator, I will go with the basic definition, when the denominator has 2 to the power m into 5 to the power n factors. Okay, this is the most important thing you have to understand. What do you mean by that? Like 1 by 40, this comes under the pattern of 1 by 2 to the power 3 into 5 to the power 5. Okay, so this is basically the pattern of this. So these are terminating. If I put 1 by 120, if you look over here, this becomes as 2 to the power 3 into 3 to the power 1 into 5 to the power 1. Okay, so this part doesn't make it a terminating decimal part. Okay, so what is the relation of this terminating and non-terminating? Let's understand it in the next page. Okay, so if you are looking over here, like if the number is 2 to the power m into 5 to the power n, it becomes terminating. It becomes terminating. So this comes under which part? This comes under rational. This is a rational number. So if the fraction gets terminated, then it is a rational number. Okay. Now 1 by 2 to the power m into 5 to the power n into x to the power y. Okay. This is anything but not x doesn't equals to 2 comma 5. Okay. X doesn't equals to 2 comma 5 means the value of x is not 2 nor 5, anything else than that. Okay, so that comes under non-terminating. That comes under non-terminating. This is a very important concept you have to understand, so I am taking it a bit time for you to get it clear. So if it is not 2 or 5, then it can be anything 3, 7. Okay, one more thing, x not equals to 2 comma 5 and even the exact 2 to the power m and 5 to the power m, means this can be like 8. If this is x is equals to 8, then our concept will not satisfy. It should not be the case of 2 to the power m and 5 to the power n also. Okay, so remember this thing, like 25 can be accepted as terminating. So my concept over here will get vanished if a student says, sir, I can take 4 or 8. If the student takes 8 as not taking 2, 2 and 5 should not be taken. So if the student says, sir, I want to take 8, then my concept will not be capable for non-terminating. It will again become terminating because 8 is equals to 2 ka cube. Okay. So we want to look at those terms which are not into the power stream of 2, power stream of 5. Okay. Not in the case of power stream of 2, 2 to the power 1, 2 to the power 2, 2 to the power 3, dot 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 up to 2 to the power n, 5 to the power 1, 5 to the power 2, 5 to the power 3, dot dot up to 5 to the power m. They should not take any of these numbers. Okay, other than that, they can take any number. This should not come in the lead. This is very important to understand. So it can take any number like 3, 4, 9, 6, 7, 9, these all numbers. Okay, so these all numbers can be taken. Moving on further, if you look over here, so what is non-terminating? Like if I say 1 by 3, okay, so let's solve it and understand the concept. Okay, we divide it like this. So I think so you have done this sum in your childhood classes 6, 7, when you first understood the concept of division. Okay, so this 3 will go on, this 3 will go on. Okay, now you should understand, whenever the terms are repeating, we call it recurring. Okay, we call it recurring. Okay, so the terms which are non-terminating and recurring, which are non-terminating and recurring, means they have a pattern over here, like 0.242424. This is a recurring term, we can write it as 0.24. Okay, so if they have a pattern in it, if after the decimal they have a pattern in it, we call it recurring. So these numbers are also known as rational numbers. These numbers are also known as rational numbers, non-terminating and recurring. Non-terminating and recurring. Okay, moving on further. Now it is non-terminating, okay, and non-recurring, means the recurring case also doesn't satisfy. So this is the case of irrational number. This is a case of irrational number. That means there will be no pattern in it. Like for example, if we take 1 by 7, let's see if this is non-terminating non-recurring or non-terminating recurring. So this will be 0.1, 7, 3, 4 times 28, 20, 2 times 14, 60, 8 times 56, 40. Okay, I think so this is not visible. So I will take the 40 above. I will do it here. 40. So how many times? 5. 35. So this will come 5 over here. I will write this over here and I will keep on doing it. 57, 49, 1. Okay. So if you see, this one comes over here, this one again comes over here. That means after that they will again recur. So the answer will be looking like this: was 0.142857, 142857, 142857. This will go on like this, and this will never end. So we can cut this whole off, okay, from the league. And what we can do, we can draw a dash over here. This means it is a recurring number. So this also comes under which part? This comes also under rational part. This also comes under rational part. Okay. So this is also a rational number. So if we get a terminating non-recurring part, then we can say it is a irrational number. So what we have to do for that? Let's take a number which will definitely be non-recurring. Okay. And I have obviously the idea of non-recurring numbers. So I will take a number which is non-recurring, like I am taking the example of square root of 2. I am taking the example of square root of 2. Okay. So what is this? The first thing that will go with 2 is 1. Okay. And I am writing it over here. I am taking one more space over here for my further help. Okay, we do it like this: 1 into 1. Okay, the nearest whole square number for 2 is 1. Okay, now we put this 0 0 over here. Now we put a decimal over here, we put a decimal over here. So 2.4. If you understand the concept of square root by long division method, so 24 4s are 96. So this comes under the value of 1. So this becomes 0.04. Now we again add this 0 0. Now we add this 0.4, this becomes as 2.8. Okay. So now if you want to add, this becomes as 1, because if we take 282 into 2, this becomes 564, and we only have 400. So we have to take only 1 over here, 0.0281. So this becomes as this will become 9, this will become 1, this will become 3, sorry, this will become 1 only. This will become 0. Okay, basic subtraction you have to do. Now again, we first took this to 0, we took this, now we take this. So we have how many digits? And other thing, we have to add over here the basic square root rule, you should not forget it. Now what we can do? See, 28 to 4. Okay, if we write 4 over here, let's take 5 over here. So if we multiply it by 5, this is 5, 2 carry, 5 2s are 10, 2 1 carry, 8 5s are 40, 1 4 carry, 2 5s are 14. So this is exceeding this number. Okay, 0 1 4 2 5. See, 0 1 4. This is 1. So 1 is lower than 4. So we have exceeded. So we have to take 4 over here. So we take a 4 over here. Okay. Now putting 0.004 over here for the protocol, adding it up to 0.828, and over here the multiplication part we have to do, that is 2824 into 4, that will be 11296. 11296. So it is lower than that. So this is obviously possible. So 406,000. Okay. So now if I take more numbers, the answer will extend over here. See, if I take more numbers, the answer will extend from 1.414, and it will extend till an extent where there will be no concept of recurring. The sum will go on and on and on, and we will not arrive at a position where the answer is excuse me, where the answer gets finished. So these all root cases are basically irrational numbers. These all root cases are basically irrational numbers. Let's have a concept from the book. See, revisiting irrational numbers. In class 9, you were introduced to irrational numbers and many of their properties. You studied about their existence and how the rationals and the irrationals together made up the real numbers. You even studied how to locate trinomials irrationals on the number line. However, we did not prove that they were irrationals. In this section, we will prove that these numbers, generally root p is irrational, where p is a prime. One of the theorems we used to use in our proof is the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Okay, so we will be proving over here why they are irrational numbers. So we'll be only taking one case and the whole exercise end with the concept. Okay, so if you see here, there is an example, root 2 is an irrational number. Okay, this is the most common question. Okay, now if you add 5 with it, if this is irrational, this also becomes irrational. But if you multiply root 2 with another irrational, that is root 2, then it becomes rational. So until and unless you multiply it with a different type of number, it becomes irrational. Otherwise, it becomes rational. So over here, we will use a concept which says that you have to prove that I am correct. Understand this thing. You have to prove that I am correct. But you are not able to prove that I am correct. So what you will do? You will take that I am incorrect and there will be an answer for it where it is saying it is false. So if you are taking that I am incorrect and that appears to be false, that means I am correct. Okay. This is the way you have to solve this type of case. Understand it again. I will take that I am correct. I know I am correct, but I am not able to prove it. So what I will do? I will take that I am incorrect. Let Pulkit Agarwal be incorrect. Okay. And after the conclusion appears, we see that it is false. So if Pulkit Agarwal is incorrect is a false statement, that means Pulkit Agarwal is correct. So we do it over here in this way. What do we say? Let us assume that root 2 is rational. So if root 2 is rational, this will be in the form of r by s. This will be in the form of r by s. Okay. Suppose r and s have a common factor that other than 1. Okay. If they are irrational, rational numbers r by s, okay, they will be having a common factor other than 1, obviously, because rational number have a common factor. Then we divide by the common factor, so we get what? We get root 2 equals to a by b, where a and b are co-primes. Okay, like 1 by 3. They are co-primes. They have only one common factor, that is 1. So that means if I say root 2 equals to a by b, wait, let me rub this off. I say that root 2 equals to a by b. So that means b root 2 equals to a. That means if I square both sides, 2b square equals to a square. See over here. Therefore, 2 divides a square. Now, if I say 2b square equals to a square, that means a square has a factor which can divide 2. Obviously. If 2 is multiplied by b square, that means a square has a part which can divide 2. That means 2 is a factor of a square. You can say like that also. Now, by the theorem 1.3, it follows that 2 divides a. So, we can say that another step we can say that a equals to 2c, where c is an integer. Okay, where c is an integer. If you move on further, we see that if a is equals to 2c, we took over here a equals to 2c. Okay, and a equals to b root 2. So we can write b root 2 equals to 2c. Now if we square it again, this becomes as 2b square equals to 4c square. Okay, you can see similarly over here. See, 2b square equals to 4c square. Okay, now if 2b square equals to 4c square, that means b square equals to 2c square. That means b can also divide 2. B square can also divide 2. B square can be divided by 2. Now over here we said that a has a factor 2 and we again said b square has a factor 2. If they both have the same factor, see over here, therefore a and b have at least 2 as common factor. But this contradicts the fact that a and b have no common factor other than 1. We took in the concept that they have only one common factor, 1. Okay. But in the question, we got 2 as also a common factor. So this violates the assumption we took in the first case. We took that they only had one common factor, but we appear with two common factors, 1 and 2. So if we appear with two common factors, that means the violation is totally visible. This contradicts has arisen because of our incorrect assumption that root 2 is irrational. Why did this contradiction appear? Because we took root 2 as a rational number. Root 2 as a rational number, which is not actually a rational number. So if we took a wrong assumption, we will lead to a wrong destination. And the purpose was that only, to take the wrong assumption to lead to a wrong destination to get the correct answer. Okay, like we see always in the concept that if we teach you the correct thing, you understand it, but the student has a curiosity, why do we not do this? The teacher has said not to do this, the student will definitely do this. So what the teachers appear to apply it nowadays, teacher says is do it, so the students don't do it. Okay, now this part should not be done by you, so the teacher definitely says it to you. He do it, because the teacher knows if I say do it, you will not do it. If I say not do it, you will do it. So this contradiction part appears in the student-teacher relation also. So this can be the trick used over here in this sum also. To prove that you are correct, we have to take that you are incorrect and prove it to a false statement. And then we can appear to a correct statement. This has been used over here for root 3 as an irrational number. Over here. Now see over here, 5 minus root 3. Now if I have proved that root 3 is irrational, that means 5 minus root 3 is also irrational. Moving on further, if you multiply it with 3 also, then it is also an irrational number. Moving on with 3 sums given over here, they can be proved in the similar way in the book given over there. You don't have to use a different way to show that you have a different charisma. Okay, some type of sums don't have a different concept. Like if you can say the theorems in geometry. Like if I say that the triangle has all the angles added up to 180 degree and the proof is given. So it's not like that I have to be the super person to make it a different proof. No, do it that way only. Everybody has to do it that way. But if you have a two-way out sum, there you can use your brains and apply your charisma. But everywhere applying your charisma can make you stupid also. Okay. Like if I want to prove anything, 2 plus 2 is obviously equals to 4. You can't make it like differently, 5 minus 1, 4 into 1. And 2 plus 2, 4 ही होगा. Okay. So you have to understand the thing where you have to use your portion to make it out of the box, and where you have to apply the same standard to be the one in the crowd. Okay, being one in the crowd is not bad. Okay, like if you have a 100 marks paper, you will have 10 marks obviously, which will be totally equal to every one of you in this whole universe. Okay, but that 90 marks paper which is left out, there you can use your charisma to become one of them all. Okay, become one different from all. Okay, there will be obviously, like if I say to solve any trigonometric sum you have done before, or if I say to solve 5 by 10, okay, many student would do it this way, many student would do it this way also. They can. So there is no harm if you have two ways only. What can I do? If I would have a different way, definitely I would say. So you just have to believe in the concept that the book has given. If there would be something newer or better or easier version, I will definitely inform you in the group or in the video. Okay. So for today, you have to complete this 1.3 exercise. We'll move on further with the 1.4 on the next day. Okay. There will be some type of sums which we regularly do it. And up till then, take care. Have a good day.